gentlemen, this your journey in Jarrell's journal. Say it now, stand up. Nothing less but the best. This your journey in Jarrell's journal. Say it now, stand up. All over the globe. This your journey in Jarrell's journal. 2-6. In city stands up. 2-6. This your journey in Jarrell's journal. Let's go.
Bring it with me, the source of your information. Created to cover all sorts of sports and many players. In the making, there is none other like it. From the majors to the minors, it's tailored to be enlightening. To politic with the globe and unfold an athletic platform for the world to behold. Stay tuned as I cover your thoughts and views. Innovating a structure to stand taller for the player of the day, making way for tomorrow. Consistent content distributed with quality as passions of the youth get used, creating prodigies. The cornerstone for the call-ins and interviews, opinions, countdowns, trivia's the latest news. Bearing gifts, so this from me to you, guaranteed to be what you don't want to miss. So have a seat, cause I'm back.
Welcome to Jarrell's Journal. Welcome to Jarrell's Journal. I hope everyone is doing good today. I am excited. We have a beautiful guest with a beautiful mind coming on today. Her name is Kelsey, Nicole Nelson, DMV representative, DMV stand up. I'm going to bring Kelsey on and introduce her in just a sec. Before I do, as always, I want to inform all the viewers how to chime in and comment. So what we learned in the last two episodes were in order to comment, you have to add on permission for StreamYard to allow you to comment, unless you're on Jarrell Hessler Sports Consulting page. So I'm going to put that on the screen below, and feel free to say anything while we're talking, and we will definitely try to address those comments. But none further. Let me go ahead and introduce my guest. Once again, this is Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Are you there?
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, I sure can. How you doing?
I am fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How's the weather out there in DC? I know we had a lot of rain on the East Coast. Did you get some sunshine recently?
Oh my gosh. So the weekend was beautiful. Today was just dreary. It's raining outside now, outside of my window. It's just not the best weather, but look, I'm here with you. So we're going to get sunshine here.
I know that's right. So real quick, Kelsey, for all of my viewers that don't know who you are, would you mind please giving you a brief background of who you are and what you worked on in the past?
Sure. So a long story short, I am a sports and entertainment reporter based in the DMV area. Most people know me from covering the sidelines. I cover all the professional sports teams here, including your Washington Wizards, Washington Mystics, and wow, what a time to be in DC area because we are winning championships. You all see what's happening. We saw what the Nats did. They were the underdogs and came back. You saw what the Mystics did. So it's a fun time to cover. I cover the college sports. I work for Big East Digital Network. I cover Georgetown women's basketball. I've covered Maryland, Georgetown, and just so much and so on and so on. I'm also a college professor. I just finished my first semester teaching intro to radio and podcasting at Jarrell College. I am a radio host for Inside the MFL radio show. I kind of do a little bit of everything. I have my own podcast, Listening with K&N. So I'm a little bit here and there. I'm a capstone advisor for Georgetown. So basically, I'm a woman that doesn't sleep and just tries to do everything. But it's been amazing. So it's been lots of fun and, continuing on this journey called life.
That's awesome. So you really are Superwoman.
I try to be.
And congrats on completing your first year as a professor. That is awesome.
Thank you.
That
means
awesome.
a lot.
So you also do mentorship, is that correct?
Yeah, so I have a bunch of just amazing mentees because, as much as I've enjoyed my journey, I've always said it's all about what you do giving back. We stand on the shoulders of giants to whom much is given, much is required. And that required part is why I mentor the next generation of next sports journalists, and not even just in sports, but just great people. That's what it's about. You're more than your job title. It's just about being a great human being on this earth and on this planet.
That is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. So I have a question for you, because we were talking about mentorships and all that stuff. We have a lot of young women, even adults that want to get into sports journalism. What was your motivation into getting into sports, first of all? What motivated you?
So I come from a sports family. My family is Southern. So I was born in the DMV area.
Okay.
Me and my sister are the only ones that were born here, right? So my mom's and dad's side, Mississippi and Louisiana. If you know about the real South, the deep South, sports is life. I'm a daddy's girl. My dad went to Grambling State University. I grew up in this world of Bayou Classics and football. So essentially I got into sports early. It's what I knew. And then I played sports. I'm competitive. I did tennis. I did soccer, basketball, volleyball. I loved being around the game. And it was just true joy, true delight. I even did cheerleading. I did a little bit of everything. And it was just truly where I found my joy. And then, it kind of led me to where I am now. In high school, I really kind of dove into my journalism career. I wrote for the newspaper. I was managing editor. I was over my yearbook the last 2 years of high school. And then, of course, went to Maryland to get my journalism degree and then grad school. But, it's always just kind of been in my blood. I've loved it. I've always said if I'm not playing the game, I need to somehow be around the game. So not playing professionally, the next best thing was to cover it professionally. And so thank gosh I'm getting to live out my dreams each and every day.
That is awesome. So what kind of obstacles did you have any obstacles overcoming being a women in sports that you had to, that any woman that is listening might experience and you can they can learn from you?
Oh my gosh, did I have any obstacles? Yes. Still do. Like every day is a challenge and a journey. But that's why I've loved this industry, because I'm the underdog and there's nothing better than coming out when you are the underdog and proving everybody wrong. But look at it. I'm a double minority in the sense that I'm a woman and I'm Black, right? And I wouldn't change it for the world. I love being a Black woman. I come from a strong family of Black women. But you always have people asking, why is she here? How did she get here? Can she do it? Can she succeed? And so you're always having to prove yourself. There's a reason why I work all the time and I don't sleep. There's always people underestimating me, and I always have to make sure I can stay in the room. It's very, very important to me. So yes, as a woman, there's sexism, there's racism. Yes. It's real. It's real. You're going to get no's, even though you did nothing wrong, even though you're qualified. You have to have you have to have thick skin in this industry. You got to have a hard backbone, and you have to know the right opportunity will come for you. What's meant for you is meant for you, but also you have to know how to create your own opportunity, right? It's kind of like I always say, it's like when you go to buy a house. If you don't see the house you like, well, guess what? Go buy a piece of land and go build it. And sometimes that's what you have to do in this industry. And that's what it is, So I faced a lot of, my journey has been very different, and nobody's journey is the same. But at the same time, that journey has made me who I am today. It's made me here with you today. It's made me be able to share my story. And my story is still being written. I have a lot of exciting things that will be coming up. But it's not easy. And that's why I said it's not for everyone. And I think this is why, though, we're seeing some of this change happen in the country, because there's certain things, unfortunately, that just because you got more melanin like me and you, and look, I love it all. But, our journey is different. Our journey is different. We didn't have this level playing field when we were born. We were born playing from behind. And it's just the sad truth. But it's a woman in sports. We're still working to change it. We're still a minority. We still need to be more in locker rooms and at games and on the sidelines and in the booths. But again, there's greats that came before me. I'm here now paving the way. So there's hopefully more in the future.
And you are. I know I listened I have 4 young ladies that I listen to as far as sports reporters. And you are definitely one of those. And I have 2 that I look for them to blow up very, very soon. So if you don't know the name, or you're just familiar with Kelsey, next up to bat is Kelsey Nelson. So be on the lookout. But real quick, just for any young viewers or anybody that's trying to get in journalism or sports reporting, on your journey there, what kind of avenues did you take to break into the industry? Did you do any internships, or how did you get into the position you are to now, or right now?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I did internships. Look, it's a hustle. My last semester of college, so I switched majors when I was at Maryland. I went in a psychology major because I got talked out of journalism. You're not going to make any money. There's no job security. Took a semester of psychology at Maryland. Yeah, it was not for me. It's a great field, but it was not for me. So switching to journalism, and everything else is, as they say, the rest was history. But yeah, it's the sad truth of the matter. But let me tell you, like in journalism, It's who you know. So you better be
Gotcha.
doing internships because you need to make
Gotcha.
connections. I did 15 internships in college. Not
Wow.
saying everyone should do that. And they weren't all in sports at the same time either, because I wanted to make sure that that was the career for me and the path for me. But also what's helpful in sports is knowing different things, right? Like I'm in DC. Sports and politics goes hand in hand here. I was able, luckily, to cover some of the South Carolina primary. I'm able to talk politics. I'm able to talk sports. And lo and behold, a lot of times those issues cross paths. So guess what? I'm able to do that. And my last semester of college, 27 credits, would not wish that on anybody. I had to get extra permission to do that. I don't even know why they gave me the permission still to this day. But I knew I was going to graduate, right? I was playing catch up after switching majors. But the internships really let me know where I wanted to work, what I wanted to do, and what the industry was like. It prepared me for life after graduation. And so I highly recommend, getting your foot in the door. And the great thing about internships now is more and more of them are getting paid. It was not like that when I was there. Look, you had to find a way to still eat, still make that job, find your train money to get down there. But now, because of rules and regulations, we're seeing more everyone getting paid for their work and labor, which is on the right track. But you have to do it. You have to do it.
And that's
if you really want to make a name for yourself.
Because that's what I teach the kids that I taught when I was teaching just previously. It's not about necessarily the education you have all the time, but who you know and how you position yourself. Even just keeping a smile on your face and introducing yourself. You never know who can, who will link onto that smile and remember you for next time. Like, hey, let me contact such and such. I remember there were, what I mean?
That's so true. That's my brand. Like people know me. Most people, I'm a smiler. Like I am the worst resting face. I can't do it. I'm a smiler. My family's Southern. I know Southern hospitality. I like people. I hope you do like people if you're in this industry. And that's what people know me for. Like I try to be a friendly smile, and also because if I have a bad day too, that's not on you. You didn't do that to me. So I try to be welcoming. I try to be warm because again, I'm privileged to be here. I'm blessed to be here. And it's just, it's always a journey. But like you said, sometimes that warm smile, people know they want to come up to you. They want to talk with you.
Exactly.
And it can go a long way.
It really can. And you brought up two interesting things that I definitely want to get your perspective on. One of them is, like you were saying, you're in DC, prime area. Now we're trying to get back to sports and politics intertwined. And we have a lot of going on in our nation with social injustice, trying to get on the right track. So let's talk a little sports real quick.
All right.
So we have basketball about to start up in the very near future, and they're going to be in Orlando, getting ready for the playoffs. But now we have Kyrie coming out with the NBA Coalition, and they're discussing, their discomfort, and they kind of make sense. It kind of makes sense. I just want to get your view on if players opt out of playing and returning back. How do you think that affect the future or this season of the NBA?
Yeah, it's an interesting time. And, let me tell you, there's no better time to cover sports than now because this is truly history in the making. On one side, you see somebody like a LeBron saying, look, when we play, our platform is even greater. All eyes are on us and all of us are playing. You have another one, Kyrie, being like, hey, how can we play with all that's going on? A lot of us are Black men in America. Yes, we're playing basketball, but that does not excuse us from the everyday harsh realities that we're facing. Is it right to play with all that's going on? And I'm a big fan of now. I think athletes are waking up in their purpose and power. I'm always for finding your purpose and knowing your power. Athletes should be empowered. They have so much to use and to gain from their platform. And that's what we're saying. Like, hey, we're not just basketball players. We don't always just have to do what you say. We have a voice and we can fight for this. So if we're going to move forward, change needs to happen. You see them now saying, hey, we need more diversity, not just within the coaching ranks, but higher up in the front office. Why aren't there more faces that look like ours? And wait, I might think about ownership in the future. Are there ways that you can help prepare me for life after basketball? There's just so many different things going on. And let me tell you, I love it. I love it. You are more than your sport. And at the end of the day, too, unfortunately, you're going to have to hang it all up. Look, I love watching LeBron James play, but, he's getting in the older ranks. He can't do it forever, right? He just can't, right? That's why we're all like, Zion Williamson, we can't wait to see what you're going to be. It's always that new generation coming. And at the end of the day, you have a duty, I think we're all here for a purpose. But if you're not paving the way for others behind you, if you're not helping to solve a social injustice and you have that power, what are you really doing? Because it's all about giving back to your community. Your community as strong as all of the people into it. people that have power need to make sure that everyone within their community feel empowered. I'm so glad now that the national conversation is on what's been happening in this country for a long time since the first slaves were brought here. But now we're finally starting to talk about it, have this conversation. I think from this conversation, this is why we're beginning to see some change across the nation and really the world. I mean, this movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, it's gone global. Right? You see people across the world saying Black Lives Matter. You see athletes of all kinds saying Black Lives Matter. And so I think it's a special time. I think the NBA, what they do, all eyes are on them. And I think a lot of other sports leagues, we see what's happening in the NFL, players already saying, coaches saying, hey, they're going to kneel. They're going to kneel. They need to bring justice and attention to this. You cannot escape this. Because again, when you take off your uniform and you put that basketball down, that football down, people judge you by this. You're still a Black man in America. I'm still a Black woman in America, no matter what I'm doing. And I still face different things because of that. But all we're saying is we want an opportunity. We want minorities to have opportunity to have kind of level the playing field. And we want justice. There should be no reason Breonna Taylor's, it's hard to talk about, but there should be no reason this young, beautiful, bright young woman who was helping others, there's no reason her killers should still be free.
There's no
justice. That's all they're saying. I think players are really realizing that, man, George Floyd could have been me.
And you know what? Listening to both sides, LeBron, who speaks out, and that's why I love him so much. Outside of his basketball career, he really tries to promote and make a difference. But listening to the other side, it's Kyrie and the coalition's view, where they want to actually stop and not put focal point or take attention away from what's going on in the world. They both make perfect sense. And I think we're, God put us in the right time and the right place for things to happen, because we're at a time where everybody's at a standstill. We're not, a lot of people's not working. You're not watching your favorite reality show.
Yeah, life is different.
Yeah, life is totally different. And we're all focused on this. So I definitely understand it. But I think Stephen A. Smith brought up an interesting fact. That is a great idea, Kyrie. But to lose out on the play of basketball, we're losing out on revenue, and also promotes your platform in order to do so. So yeah, I think we have some game planning to do as far as
I mean, there's different ways to look at it, right? It's kind of like we could all get to the same solution that we want, but we might have different ways to get there, right? You go back to your multiplication tables in elementary school. Some of us were able to just remember it all in our head. Some of us had tricks with our fingers or different, foods to remember. I don't know. You found a way to find that answer, and I think that's what we're seeing. And I get it. Like obviously when you're playing, you have more attention on you, more eyes on you. And then we also know sports, let's remember, sports are entertainment. We usually watch sports to kind of relax from just the daily stresses of life, right? Like when you go to a sporting event, you're usually going to have fun. You're drinking a beer with your friends. You're eating good. You're screaming out loud, right, for your favorite player. But now we see that like sports are taken away because of what's happening. We have a global pandemic in COVID-19. We have a global pandemic and what's happening in this country. But at the same time, I think we all know we have a duty and obligation to get it right. Our kids are watching. The future is watching. The future depends on the decisions that we make in this moment in time. So it'll be very interesting to continue to follow this, and see if we can find a happy medium.
Yeah. And you know what? I was able to sit in on the ESPYs is about to premiere.
Crazy to think about. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually perfect time. And so I was able to ask Russell Wilson and the other two hosts, their plans about addressing their constituents and teammates. And one thing Russell Wilson said is he didn't, or they said as a collective bargain, they didn't want to throw anyone under the bus, but join people to the party.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought that would be awesome as well. As a journalist, how would you want, or what do you think athletes that are kind of hesitant to speak out, or our other kind of players, coaches, and athletes from the other side of the fence that are not as educated and don't have the experience? How do you think they should respond, or address what is going on right now in the future of sports?
I think it's all about getting educated. And no, I don't only mean you got to go to college to be educated. No, this means opening your mouth and talking to others that are not like you. One of the best interviews I recently did on my show was with the guy, Sean Fox. He's a sports director in Louisiana, New Orleans specifically, well, Monroe, Louisiana. And he was like, Kelsey, let me tell you something. We were talking about the Drew Brees situation.
Oh, okay.
He said, Kelsey, when Colin Kaepernick first started kneeling, I thought it was about the flag. I was pissed. I was mad. He said the Drew Brees situation came up. He said, I started talking to colleagues. I started talking to my neighbors. I saw the George Floyd incident. I saw and I heard why people were hurting. He said, I look at it completely different now. It was not about the flag. I said, yes, this is what we've been trying to say. This is what we've been saying for a long time. And we were able to have a conversation where two very different people from two very different backgrounds, even though we both have Louisiana roots, we had a conversation. Yes. That's what it's about. I just had Governor Jesse Ventura on my show. He's very passionate about this. He was in a governor role. He was able to talk about what he thinks the police got right and where they misstepped and what they got wrong in the situation. He was able to see why Black Lives Matter. These are the conversations we need to have. You need to get educated into seeing why your teammates, why are they making these videos about being Black men in America? Why are they hurting? Why are they mad at Drew Brees? You need to educate yourself on these issues and topics so you can have an informed decision and say, and I know some people are saying, oh, I don't think I should speak up because I'm afraid I'm going to say the wrong thing. First of all, anytime you open your mouth, you can say the wrong thing to somebody because somebody might not like it. Yeah. The main thing is that you're talking, and that's what we have to do. We have to get the conversation flowing. And I think the Drew Brees situation was a perfect example of that, right? He said something, many disagreed, and he was able to talk about why they felt that way and why he got the backlash that he had. And that's what it's about. At the end of the day, we have to have these necessary conversations. They're not easy conversations, but I think some of the greatest things in life are not easy and they don't come for free. But I think this is what needs to happen if we're going to really move the needle and put the foot forward. But also, I mean, as athletes, if you know you're going to speak out, you do have to be prepared for backlash, right? Not everybody's going to agree with you, unfortunately, but you have to know that you are there for a reason, and that if you do use your platform to do this, just know you're standing up and making a change. Some of the greatest moments in history, right? Some of the greatest moments in history. Look back at Tommy Smith. I mean, you look back at some of the greatest moments in history. They were not easy. There was backlash, but change came from those moments. What Muhammad Ali went through was not easy, right? He lost some of the most prime careers of his boxing career. Right? But he made a change. Right. Colin Kaepernick has transformed sports. I mean, I always argue Colin Kaepernick is bigger today than he would have ever been had he just kept playing football, because now he's a transformational leader. Now people who don't know sports know Colin Kaepernick, right? And what he's doing now, he's going to forever be remembered for it. So it's getting informed, getting educated, and making sure you listen. So many people sometimes hear people. There's a difference between hearing and listening. Are you actually listening to the concerns of others? Are you listening and trying to make your decision informed based off of that? Because your personal biases cannot be lived experience of someone else. So someone tells you they're hurting, listen, see why they're hurting and see what you can do.
Hey, Kelsey, man, you been here before? I promise you, you're ahead of your time. I think everything
I'm old in the mind.
Everything you just touched on are great and valid points, and that's why God made us so different. We all have different points of view, different way of thinking.
Exactly.
And I think one of our biggest problems, even inside our community, is our ability to listen correctly. Even at the job, when you have a conflict, things don't get resolved because of how and you interpret and listen. So what you said is head on, and we can use that in so many different aspects of our lives to make things easier. That is awesome. But just like you said, also even with Drew Brees, initially when he's made his remark, it kind of made me, me feel a certain way.
All of us.
Like all of us. But someone said, someone said something to me that made me think, how often, he could have went home and his wife could have got right on him and educated him. And people didn't give him the time to, or give him the opportunity of like, okay, he did correct himself, or maybe he really did needs to, somebody sat down with him and informed him. And I think that is what's going to need to happen between organizations, teams, players, moving forward, because like you said, this is a history, and we're never going to be the same without, after this.
Exactly. And that's a good thing. Look, nothing should be the same. You should not be the same person you are today. That should not be the same person you were last year this time, right? Like, I have a birthday coming up next month. And as I reflect on this, you guys should remember it. But, I'm not the same person. I'm about to turn 28. 27 was an incredible year for me. I'm not the same person that I was at 26 or 25 and so on. Life is all about growth. And sometimes it's about hard change. You have to know we all have flaws, right? You have to know how to address those and fix those. You could become just a better person, because when you become better, you make society better. You make your community better. You have more to offer. And that's what it's about, right? So Drew Brees, he had a big boo-boo. Right? People came after him for it, right? We've all been there. We've all made mistakes, maybe not to that magnitude, but he's also on a higher platform. So, when you're a celeb, you get judged differently because everything you do is in the public eye. But at the same time, I feel like I judge people, I don't care who you are, based off of your actions, right? Actions always speak louder than words. Because I'm one of those people, I don't always care what you're doing in the light. I want to know what you're doing in the dark, because look, that's when people show their true and their real colors. It's easy kind of to do the right thing when the spotlight is on you, but when the spotlight is off of you, are you still this good person? Are you still doing the right thing? That's how I judge you, and that's how we should judge people, in my opinion.
Now, real quick, Kelsey. Since it's we're in a pandemic, obviously, but with your journalism and reporting, how has that changed as far as reaching out to athletes or interviewing? How has that transition been for you?
It's been actually a fun transition, because they can't just say, Kelsey, I'm busy, I'm doing this or that. No, we're doing the same thing. You're stuck in quarantine in your house like me. You got time. And if anything, I feel like it's been interesting, because I get to see players and athletes on a different level. Like, literally, when you talk about leveling the playing field, we all kind of got the playing field level with COVID-19, right? You could hit any and everybody, and we're all stuck in our own houses. And I think sometimes people think these athletes all of them have gyms and these big houses. No, some of them have city apartments like me and the rest of us, right? Like, they're trying to work out with what they have in their house, like the rest of us, water bottles for weights and whatever else. So if anything, I feel like my show has luckily really thrived off of this, because one, of course, you have more people looking for content because there's not live sports, so you had to be creative. And then you have more people willing to say yes and just sit down and talk, because they just want to have a conversation, right? Like, I think COVID-19 really is a time when we all have to check on our mental health. It's something different. A lot of us I'm usually that person that's not home. This year I had so much travel planned. I was about to rack up my airline miles. I was getting ready for my free trips and things, my hotel points, my free rooms, and lo and behold, now it's all different. Right? Everything changed. And if anything, now I think my biggest thing is I'm having a hard time knowing when to stop work. Because, when you're at home, you just work. The sun goes up, the sun goes down, and you're still working. Like, oh man, I gotta sleep, I gotta eat. Like, it's just the everyday things, that you're trying to do. But I mean, I think I thank everybody for just following along with me and my show and my journey. And then two, I have to thank all the incredible guests for just saying yes, giving me their time. Every time they're like, Kelsey, however long you need, I got you. Just go, like, just talk. That's what we do. We just have a conversation, and we just let things flow.
That's awesome. And tell me this.
Yeah.
Have you ever, you've been doing this for a number of years now.
Are you calling me old?
No, not by any means. Don't do it to me, no. But have you had anyone that you got starstruck on yet? Have you felt that yet?
Oh my gosh. So I feel like I always get asked this question, and I would say so far I've been able to contain my excitement, because I think sometimes people think like it's all just business. No, like sometimes you're meeting people that you idolize yourself, and you have to just keep it professional. I haven't yet, but I'll tell you, and everybody knows this. So if I meet Oprah or Beyonce in person, I will get starstruck. You guys will see a different side of me. And probably even our late President Barack Obama. Like, those are probably three people that I might just lose my cool and, go crazy for a little bit, but then I'll get back in position. But so far I haven't met those three. But I mean, yes, there's people sometimes I'm like, wow. Like, I mean, I love Brandy, and getting to interview Brandy and Ray J at the Urban One Honors, was just a dream. And I got to do the sibling interview, right? It was magical. I'm talking with Brandy about the 20-year anniversary of Cinderella, a film that I grew up watching and just loving her in it, right? With Whitney Houston in that film. But at the same time, it's like, it's nice to be there. When you work to get there, it's nice to realize, wow, like God put me in this place and position. And now, I'm interviewing, I'm talking with somebody that I idolized growing up. Now I'm in the same room as them. And when you're meant to be in that room, you're going to be in that room. So, I mean, there's so many incredible people. It's hard to say, just pick one. But I always pinch myself and like, wow, like this is really happening. This is real.
That's awesome to know. So with you being a big sports fan and basketball being here, who is your team? Are you a Washington's fan?
So let me tell you, the DMV area, we're weird. All right. So I grew up in Maryland, Baltimore is in Maryland. Now, if you know about the DMV area, Baltimore is not in the DMV, blah, blah, blah. But I grew up a Ravens fan, right? That's what my dad was. I'm born in 92, you know, the franchise started in 96. But it's what I live and breathe them. Ed Reed is on my bucket list. If he's listening to this, Ed, I got to get you on the show. I got to. When he signed 2 tickets to Paradise after they won the Super Bowl, I will sing that with you in the interview. Ray Lewis, I do my squirrel dance anytime I'm about to do something big. But, it's great. Like growing up in this area and getting to cover teams in this area, I grew up going to Washington Mystics games and Wizards games, and now I'm covering them. So it's kind of like a unique vantage and viewpoint, that I have. And obviously the Washington Redskins, cheer for them and root for them. But it's a unique thing to be able to work in the area where you grew up and the teams that you grew up cheering for.
That's awesome. So Baltimore Ravens, when the Panthers play you guys, I'm definitely have to make sure we link up.
Oh my gosh, yes. I still wish we had Smitty. I still wish we had Steve. I wish he was still playing Steve Smith Sr. I miss the Ice Up Sun memes and everything like that. Thank you.
I was so mad about that. But he did right by you guys.
He did. Oh my gosh. He's just, when you talk about a great player and just what he was able to do and what he was able, and talk about being an underdog and having to prove yourself, like literally, he comes straight to mind. So lots of good memories. They should have been in Miami last year, but that's a whole nother story that I won't get to. But in Lamar Jackson we trust, and shout out to Lamar for being on that Madden cover. No Madden curse. No Madden curse.
Y'all got one in Lamar. Y'all definitely do. And he's exciting to watch. Now, quick. Do you have what do you have coming up new that we need to look forward to? Because I want everyone that's on here watching you to be as big a fan as I am of you.
Oh, thank you.
What you got coming up?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy to me sometimes, just all of the interviews I have lined up. Okay, so first, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time, I have Art Still, former NFL player. He was a former most valuable player for the Kansas City Chiefs, All-American out of the University of Kentucky. We're going to talk for an hour, 6 to 7. Everyone should definitely tune into that. Talk about just inspiration and what he's doing, life after football. And then on Friday, I'm having Anthony Murrow, which basketball fans, y'all should know that name, Warriors, and played for a bunch of other teams. And also in the Big Three, we're going to talk the latest and greatest. We kind of talked about it here, happening with the NBA and just so much more. He also does a lot of charity work. And then Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, all right? So Thursday at 6 p.m., try not to lose people. Friday at 6 p.m., Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, I'm welcoming in Ben Wallace, Detroit Pistons fans. Y'all are going to love this and what he's doing now with the G League. We're going to talk that championship. We're going to talk the G League and just what it means. So it's going to be fun. And next week, I'm super excited because Amari Stoudemire is coming to the show. So everyone should tune into that one too. He will be with me on the 24th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for everything else, you guys should check out my website, KelseyNicoleNelson.com, because that's where I get to drop my special guest list. But there's just a lot. July 2nd, because he's probably watching, Wayne Marbury is coming to the show. If you don't know that name, he is the Violator. He is that super cool Raiders mascot that we all love. The unofficial Raiders mascot, the super fan. So lots of great things coming up on the show. So yeah, people should definitely check out.
And we definitely will repost it on Jarrell Heslop's page because, like I said, you're next and coming, and we know it. My other question for you is, with the NBA season right here coming back, and all talk on LeBron, do you think this will blemish his record if he wins or loses the championship this year?
Oh, okay. So this is the age-old question, right? If you had that asterisk by your championship, will it really count? If anything, I think what they're playing through this year is different. I mean, yes, we're going to look at it differently, but to go through all that we've gone through this year and to win a championship, I think it's going to be even more sweeter, right? Because of just the trials and tribulations that 2020 has brought. And of course, I think LeBron can do it. And if he does do it, yes, there'll be some haters that can be like, oh, well, it was because of this or that, and he got it in the bubble. Is it really real? But then there's also going to be people like, wow, he was able to do that through civil unrest that's happening in our country, just through the crazy year that we had, through a global pandemic, and was still able to do it. That's something special. That's something unforgettable. That's memorable. It will be a moment where were you when this team won that championship? Like, that's what this year is, because that's what it's been, right? It's been, where were you when, unfortunately, when we lost Kobe, where were you moment? Where were you when you first found out about COVID-19? And then this is the year that it's been, right? It's a where were you moment, and that's what it's going to be. And I think the championship will actually be even more sweeter for whatever team gets to hoist that championship trophy.
That's a good point of view. And the reason I ask is because ever since The Last Dance dropped, heard nothing but debates about, how legit is LeBron versus,
Oh
Jordan.
man, yeah.
Now, do you recall watching Jordan play, live, or was that a little, after you?
So the height of Jordan, I was born in '92. So the height of
Okay.
Jordan, I was little. I had Jasmine Jordan on my show. We're the same age.
Oh,
So
awesome.
literally, when Jordan was. But I do remember. I'll tell you this. I remember seeing Jordan play when he was here in Washington. Those people are gonna get to see that on the documentary. But us in Washington remember Jordan's years in DC as a look. We're not gonna go deep into that, but remember him in DC as a Washington Wizard. But Last Dance was just incredible to watch. I mean, we all know MJ is the GOAT. And just what he did for basketball and what he had to play through. I mean, I think especially what got me was, when he lost his dad and just that, it was so emotional and, just going through all that, and it was tough, but he did what he said he would do. And again, I mean, what Jordan did for the Bulls was just extraordinary. Players yearn for that. And even now, players don't have the loyalty like they used to. So what Jordan did, was kind of like the almost the last of a kind. But look, I don't get into the MJ, LeBron, it was two different eras, right? It was two different eras. Kind of like you just can't compare. But obviously what they did was just incredible. We obviously all were hooked onto The Last Dance. Like, I would not move from my bed or my couch when I was watching Last Dance. You not answer. I mean, I was tweeting, but nothing else. No phone calls. I'm not drinking a lot of water before because I'm not running to the bathroom. Like, this is The Last Dance. I'm glued to the TV. And, I'm thankful, luckily, that we all got to kind of watch that together during this rough time that we're having.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was locked in, Kelsey. It just brought back memories of my childhood watching them. And I don't think people realized at the time when Jordan was playing that we need to cherish this guy. We need to cherish these memories.
He's a national treasure.
National treasure. But the same kind of thing is going on right now with LeBron. Look, we really need to cherish this guy and keep him protected at all costs.
Yeah. Look, people feel the same about Brady, right? Like, Brady's kind of been that gift. Tom Brady's that gift that keeps on giving. And lo and behold, I'm not saying he's going to do it, but if he's able to bring Tampa a championship before he leaves, just wow. When you talk about GOAT status.
I was just about to ask you that. 40 years old. I call him Mr. GQ. I've talking that for a while. How do you think that him and Gronk are going to transition over there with, they have an awesome lineup on the offense and defense.
Talk about a team. Fully loaded team.
Fully loaded. And I hate it because my Carolina Panthers are right there in the middle, and we didn't do But how do you think that is going to look with the NFC South with Brady 40-year-old self killing over there?
Brady and Breeze, again, they're the gifts that keep on giving. And I think it's going to be fun. Look, I just talked about it with Warren Moon on my show. Warren's like, Brady's great. We know he's the GOAT. But Warren's like, hey, your body changes when you get older. Well, we all know that. Our bodies change as we get older. But I think, Brady is that guy whenever you underestimate him, he comes back and proves it to you, right? And again, I grew up a Ravens fan. All right. I've seen Brady come back from just times that you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Because we know that hate relationship between the Baltimore Ravens and the New England Patriots. But I think now what he's going to be able to do with Tampa Bay is going to be something special. No, I don't think he's winning a championship this year, but I think he's going to lead Tampa Bay just out of the rough times that they've been living in. I mean, we're finally excited about football in Tampa Bay. Think about that. We're finally excited about the Buccaneers. Y'all are about to go buy your Buccaneers jerseys. It's been a while.
Hey, look, I'm not a Bucs fan, but I'm gonna be looking. I'm not a fan, but I'm gonna look.
Exactly. So it's a fun time. Like, football's fun. I'm excited. You have these young stars like Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Sean Watson, and then you have your Tom Brady's and Drew Brees that are still like, hey, we're still here and we still got it, right? So it's a fun time. Should we have a season? Even if it's without fans or, whatever we're going to end up doing, I still think it's going to just be something magical and special. And Lamar, stop hopping over those skis. Stop hopping that jet ski. Oh my gosh, you almost gave us all a heart attack, right? You're worth too much money. So in this COVID time, I do hope all the players are safe. And remember, your body is your vessel. We're counting on you.
Now, real quick. Even with the seasons, like we said, we're waiting to see. We have basketball coming. We're waiting to see how we're going to play out with the NFL and college. Is that going to trend, or is that going to alter how you further do your reporting with the upcoming season, as far as limiting your travel, or you're still going to try to get out to as many events as possible, just protect yourself? How are you going to do that?
That's a great question. Look, every media person is asking that very question. I think back, I talked about this on my show with Jim Rooney, but if only we had known Super Bowl would have been one of the last big events, back in February, we had no worries. We're in Miami, we're having a good time, we're covering the game. Then you have NBA All-Star. Like, we didn't know. We didn't know that all this was coming. But of course it changes, because I think, if you have older you see who COVID-19 can impact most, especially when it's deadly. I think about, some of my older colleagues that have been in this game a long time and have not missed anything. They're going to ask questions. You see this bubble thing. Are you going to be that reporter that's going to be able to stay there for 3 months in the bubble and, have all these restrictions? You have underlying health conditions that put yourself, in jeopardy. You have a family to go back home to. Are you willing to maybe risk their health? There are so many questions. You think about someone like me, sideline reporting. Will it be the same thing? You think about the social distancing guy. Like, everything's going to change. Life as we know it is changing. You look at your local news. You have anchors that used to be like, like me and you, like over here. Now we're spread out. We're not supposed to be that close. So of course it's going to change. I think it's going to be different for every person. You have to really just weigh everything. I'm committed to still bringing in my fans and my viewers and my listeners sports content, but it won't change. And I hope they're prepared for that and ready for that. But I think this is kind of the fun thing about this technology and digital age. We live in a world now where you don't necessarily need to be right at something to cover it. Like, look at me and you. We're in two different places. I could have been in Antarctica and you could have been in Alaska. I don't know. And we still would have been able to do this interview, right, with Wi-Fi. Yeah. So, that's kind of the beauty and the magic of technology. But yeah, it'll definitely be different. And I just hope everyone has patience, because this is the first time we're going through all this, right? There's no right answer. We're trying to figure it out. But, people are committed to still bringing fans what they want. I know the media is committed. So we're going to find a way to make it happen. They just have to stay on this journey with us.
Now, I have a personal question for you as a journalist.
Yeah.
Now, with my business, so Jarrell's Journal is a play off of my business, where I work with organizations, college, high school on up to professional, to try to promote change in decision making and ethics. So as a journalist, I know you report with athletes that come into situations that we hear and read about all the time.
Yeah.
What is your line on far as how far you dig into them on these decisions they make, or is it all about a professional rapport that you already have with these athletes?
Yeah, in this industry, you work to build your reputation, right? And you want to make sure that your reporting is fair and consistent, unbiased as much as possible. You want to be objective, right? Like, as journalists, we uphold ourselves to the highest standards. We have our Society of Professional Journalists. We have our Code of Ethics standards. That's the first class you take in journalism. Your ethics class, class, right? It's important. And then also you have to think about it. Journalism is all about relationships. So if you don't care about ethics, do you think athletes are going to want to talk to you? Do you think you're going to be on the good side of PR teams and stuff? No, you're not, right? Like, people always ask, how are you able to get all these great guests? One, I have an amazing team around me and they work hard. We don't stop. But two, it's building up my brand and my reputation, right? You put the work in. It's so hard to build a brand, but so easy to break it. And I hope people realize that, because it just takes that one bad moment, right? That one bad night. Even for athletes, we've seen that, unfortunately. Look, talking about the Ravens, Earl Thomas did not have the best COVID-19 situation, right? It got out there, right? And it was crazy. Now people laugh at it and there's memes and stuff like that, but at the same time, if you're going to talk to Earl come the next football season, if he saw something that you said wasn't true or accurate, he might look at you a little differently. He might not want to talk with you because, he felt that you're trying to represent him in the wrong way. He has a family. So I think, you always have to just be true to yourself. You have to be true to your news organization, because when you sign with them, they're trusting you to bring your best foot forward. They're trusting you to make sure that everything you report is factual and correct. And sometimes things get wrong and said, but you have to own up to it, right? We're adults. We're human beings. But I think that's what it's about. But ethics, I think that needs to be the principle you live by, not even just in sports reporting, but in life. I think that's how we're judged. Like, you want to be a person of true standard and character, because otherwise you're just a human being, right? You're just a human that's just here. But, are you really here? I think we all judge you for who you are by your ethics. Nobody wants to be around a person who's unethical. Why would you, right? That'll bring down your brand.
And I think you're doing that already. So my whole philosophy in life is that I think that we were put here to learn as much as we can and give back. Is a revolving circle. And then ethics is the missing piece. Ethics is the missing piece that we were founded on. but we kind of strayed away with a lot of business and, revenue taking over.
Yeah.
So my next question, then I'm gonna get into a little rapid fire. I have some little fun questions for you. But what would you leave to aspiring young journalists that are going to be following your footsteps in the futures to come? What should they know entering into this field?
I would say first, stay hungry. I mean, this is a field you have to hustle, right? This is not a 9 to 5. You're going to have long nights, early mornings. You have to have a thick skin. Nothing comes easy. You have to work really hard, and things will happen. And I took this from Karan Butler because it was funny. When I was a kid, I won his 3 Days to Succeed award. But you have to stay disciplined, determined, and dedicated. That's what it is. Disciplined, determined, and dedicated to your craft. And then also you need to network, right? You need to gain a mentor in this industry. You need to listen to the OGs, listen to the vets, people who came before you. They'll help you find your footing in this industry. They'll help you find your voice, and make sure that you are connected with the right people. That's truly important. You need to make sure you're building your brand in the right way. Make sure your social's clean. Make sure when people look at your social, it's a reflection of you. And make sure your brand is strong, and be unique. You got to find a way to be unique and separate yourself from the pack. So I think if you work hard, you find the right people to be around you and in your corner, and you just hustle, keep putting out content, keep making a name for yourself, find internships. I think the right opportunity will come for you, and you'll be successful in this industry.
That is awesome, and I appreciate you, because I want each episode that we do and each beautiful mind that I have on, that this is connects with someone and kind of motivates them and give them the drive that they need so they can be on the same level as you. So I think that
be better than me. Look, when I mentor people and I push people, I want you to go past and propel me, because that's what you should do, right? Like
that's
you are setting the stepping stones for the next generation, and so on and so on.
That's absolutely right. So I have a question for you, and I think I know some of the answers already.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. So, out of the two, who you rocking with, Rihanna or Beyonce?
A queen. I'm going with Beyonce all day. Beehive for life.
Mambo sauce or BBQ?
You saw how my face already went back. Come on, you know where I'm from. You know I'm going with Mambo sauce. So I said I want to stay in the DMV for as long as I can. But if someplace takes me up, look, I'm bringing my Mambo sauce with me, because we know we grow up with it. And DC is the real Mambo sauce. Don't let people tell you about that Chicago stuff, all right?
Hey, look, they're doing it in Chicago now? They're imitating? Okay, I didn't know that, because
often imitated, never duplicated.
When you come home, when you come back to North Carolina, I need you to bring some, because we have some imitation Mambo sauce down here.
Let me tell you, when I go back to North Carolina, I hope it's still there, but I'm going to Mertz. I don't know if you've been to Mertz, one of my favorite soul food places in
what city? In Charlotte? I haven't been there. Okay.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. You have me thinking about it. So I can't wait to go to Mertz. Look at me giving them some free plug.
I'm about to say that, yeah. But now I'm gonna check it out. Favorite cereal.
Favorite cereal. Oh my gosh, I'm a big kid when it comes to cereals. I love Cocoa Pebbles. You could not go wrong. It turns into all chocolatey. Yes, I love Cocoa Pebbles. So those are my go-to.
Okay. And last one. Does the Miss Kelsey Nicole Nelson have any celebrity crush?
Celebrity crush. Oh man, you're probably getting in trouble with this one.
It's all right.
I don't know if I should say it. So I'll tell you the person that was on my locker. Do people still put things in lockers? Like, I don't know. I need to ask the kids.
Trust me, they do. Trust me, they do.
Michael B. Jordan was just that guy. So, well, look. I'm too old for crushes now, but I put my embarrassing moment out there, because you need to be able to laugh at yourself. So, yeah.
Hey, we're gonna shoot this. I'm gonna shoot this to my connections. We're gonna get this out.
Look, I just want him to come on my show. I just want to do the interview. That's all. Come on my show. We're going to talk sports and some of the great things that he's doing.
Some form of fashion, we're going to make it happen. I promise you.
Too funny.
Kelsey, I really just want to thank you so much for just giving me the time to speak with you and sit down and talk with and chop it up with me. So you got me nervous. But I know the potential and where you're headed. And I'm so excited just to speak with you.
Oh, well, thank you. It's so good. Like I said, it's a true pleasure to be on. I am so excited to continue to watch you grow in your future. I'm going to be like, when you get big and forget about the little old people like me, I'm just going to be proud rooting you on. Like, there's room for everybody to eat.
I'm here,
support each other.
I'm totally joking. But, no, it is a blessing. And once again, can you please tell our viewers when they can catch you again on what date on your podcast?
Yes. So basically, I need to be on your screens the next 3 days. No, I don't have. But tomorrow at 6. Tomorrow at 6, I have Art Still. Friday at 6, I have Anthony Murrow, and then Saturday at 2 p.m. I have Ben Wallace. But most shows are every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time and Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. But next week, Amari Stoudemire will join me on Wednesday instead of Thursday because he's playing the game on Thursday. So we're going to right before game day so people can join me with him next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
That is awesome. I'm so proud of you as well, man. And we're going to stay in contact, and definitely I'm gonna have you back if you don't mind.
Of course. I'd love to. I'd be honored. And tell all the good people in North Carolina, I cannot wait to come back. I loved living there. If I wasn't here, that might be one of the places I live now. But good memories.
Well, we're going to definitely see you soon and do something in the near future. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm gonna hit you up in just a second, okay?
All right, cool. Have a great one. Bye, everyone. Thanks so much for having me.
Bye-bye. I want to thank Kelsey one more time just for joining us. And like I say, every show, I hope that this podcast reach a viewer that's still trying to live out a dream, or a youth that is trying to pursue their goal in journalism, that she gave some insightful knowledge to help you and motivate you. Tune in on Jarrell Heslop's sports consulting page and on my personal page, Jarrell Heslop, for the next episode. We have a lot of things coming up this month and next month, and it's very exciting. Be with me as like she said, as we continue to grow, and I will see you soon. Thank you all for joining.
Ladies and gentlemen, this your journey in Jarrell's journal. Say it now, that's right. Nothing less but the best. This your journey in Jarrell's journal. Say it now, stand up. All over the globe. This your journey in Jarrell's journal. 2-6. In city, stand up. 2-6. This your journey in Jarrell's journal. Let's go.
Bring it with me, the source of your information, created to cover all sorts of sports and many players. In the making, there is none other like it. From the majors to the minors, it's tailored to be enlightening. To politics with the globe and unfold an athletic platform for the world to behold. Stay tuned as I cover your thoughts and views. Innovating a structure to stand taller for the player of the day, making way for tomorrow. Consistent content distributed with quality as passions of the youth get used, creating prodigies. The cornerstone for the call-ins and interviews, opinions, countdowns, trivia's the latest news. Bearing gifts, so this from me to you, guaranteed to be what you don't want to miss. So have a seat, cause I'm back.